Hi everyone! Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. In this video, I'm going to be ranking Le Male and its flankers, or my favorite flankers, just because I was resmelling them recently and I realized how great they are for spring. You know, they really fill in a lot of different sectors of fragrance. Some work better in warmer weather, some work better in cooler weather, but they are generally very universal and really good for this kind of weather where we have hot days. There's kind of a Le Male for that. When we have kind of a slightly more crisp spring days, there's a Le Male for that. And it's just such a great line of fragrances, but there are a lot of them, and I thought I should tell you guys my favorites. So if that's something that you're interested, keep watching. For those of you who are new here, my name is Ashley. I live and work in Paris as an apprentice perfumer. I've been working in the fragrance industry now for about 10 years in different roles. I have my Master's of Science in Scent Design and Creation. And so if you're interested in fragrance videos from an informed and unbiased perspective, consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so the first Le Male fragrance I want to talk about today is one of, it's the classic, it's the original, so I can't say I don't like it because I do, but I do tend to prefer the flankers, and so they're a little bit higher up on this list. But I do love the classic Le Male fragrance. It really is an update on the classic Fougère while still being true to Fougère character. So it does start very aromatic with this mint note. There's a little bit of cardamom as well. Then you get into a heart of lavender and a base of vanilla, and we see this with the Fougère structure. It really is a lavender-based fragrance, and it's not like these more hyper modern fougères that are all about the fresh. Here, of course, it is a fresh fragrance, but it's still a little bit of that barbershop clean fougère made addictive by a vanilla and an amber. This fragrance came out in 1995, but is absolutely timeless, and it has been the kind of father of some amazing fragrances and some of my favorite men's fragrances of all time. The perfumer behind this fragrance is Francis Kurkdjian, who is also one of my favorite perfumers. And yeah, it's just an amazing fragrance. It has really good longevity and projection as well. I've heard different things about reformulations, but this current version, I'm definitely getting good longevity and projection still. So if you like that traditional fougère, but don't want to go into grandpa territory, this fragrance is such a great update on that. So I'm going to talk about 4 other flankers today, 2 the original Le Male, 3 of which I love, 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 and 1 which is a flanker of the flanker, and I prefer the original one, but we'll get into that. So the next fragrance that I'm going to be talking about is Le Beau, the Eau de Toilette. I absolutely love Le Beau Eau de Toilette. Now that the days are starting to warm up, I just think it's absolutely amazing for warmer weather. Again, with a lot of the Le Male fragrances, except for one, you're getting really good projection and longevity, and I feel Le Beau I don't think has the longevity and projection of the original, but it's still a very performing fragrance. I would say 6 hours of wear on average, so it's not going to be a beast with 10 plus hours, but I definitely smell it a good chunk of the day by, let's say at the beginning of the workday when you first spray it on. Of course, it's its strongest, and you still get hints of it at the end, but it's not necessarily the powerhouse that some fragrances are. Now, this fragrance starts with notes of bergamot. It has a coconut heart, and then at the base we have tonka. And so you really get this addictive lactonic mix with the brightness of the top, and then the creaminess of the coconut, and even tonka, which can be powdery, can also have a slightly lactonic facet, and that's what makes this fragrance so addictive. It's absolutely a departure from the original, but it's a great fragrance in itself. So the next fragrance that I'm going to be talking about is Le Beau Le Parfum. This fragrance is very nice, but I will say I prefer the original Le Beau Eau de Toilette. Now, if you like your fragrances on the sweeter side, then try the Le Beau Le Parfum. I know with these names, I don't know how they expect us to keep up because I work in the industry and I still think it can be very confusing. So yes, there is an Eau de Toilette of Le Beau and there's also a Le Parfum. To me, the Eau de Toilette is fresher. It's a little bit more masculine because it doesn't go as sweet. Where Le Parfum, yeah, I think that's just kind of the direction that they're taking it in. Even with one of Jean-Paul Gaultier's most recent launches, Scandal, it was a very sweetened men fragrance. And I could see this becoming a trend and maybe I'll come around to it. It's not that I'm against sweet men's fragrances. I think it's just still very new and so I'm treading carefully around it. And as of now, I still prefer Le Beau Eau de Toilette. So I wanted to share that with you guys in case you were not sure which to choose. Of course, if you like a sweeter fragrance, go with the Le Parfum, but if you prefer the freshness and I think the slight complexity, I do find the Eau de Toilette to be a bit more interesting, stay with the Eau de Toilette. The next fragrance on this list is Ultra Male, and holy smokes, this fragrance is sexy. There is some remnants in the structure of this fragrance to the original Le Male. You do have the lavender, you do have the vanilla, but you also have this pear and cinnamon on top that is so addictive and so sexy. This is definitely a going out fragrance, the kind of fragrance when you're looking for a special someone or you're going on a date, but it has really good longevity and projection, and I believe Francis Cric de Jean did this version as well. And if you've smelled the MFK, the Maison Francis Cric de Jean range, you know that Francis Cric de Jean knows how to make a fragrance with projection. And so this fragrance I think is great when you are trying to get attention because girls love this fragrance. It's just a really well done, pleasant fragrance to be around, and I really think you can't go wrong with it. The last fragrance on my list is my absolute favorite Le Male flanker, and it's Le Male Le Parfum. Again, one of those kind of confusing things. So the original Le Male is an Eau de Toilette, and this version is a Le Parfum. Le Male Le Parfum takes the original Le Male and it adds iris, more vanilla, more of these cuddly amber notes. There's more of the cardamom. I don't know if I already said iris, but that's there too. And it just perfects the fragrance. The only area that I think this fragrance doesn't perform as well on is performance. So this fragrance, it's more of an intimate wear. It's by no means a wallflower, it's not wispy, but it's very moderate. It's, I think, the most moderate wearing of the Le Males. But what it lacks, I think, in sillage, it still stays with you. So you still get longevity out of it, just not as much performance and sillage. And honestly, I don't care because when the right person gets close to you wearing this fragrance, it just won't matter. It smells so good and so addictive. And what I like is that they added the iris here and didn't make it a Dior Homme. Actually the iris note here I think is really unique and gives its own twist, still making this its own fragrance. That's not to say I don't like when certain flankers Dior Homme themselves, but I've been seeing it so much lately. Yeah, I've just been seeing it a lot, and I love Dior Homme and I don't want to get tired of it, and I'm starting to see it in like every other fragrance flanker, that kind of ID or DNA. It smells beautiful, but I'd like to see, I love iris and men's fragrances, and we thankfully still have the original Dior Homme, or at least the Dior Homme Parfum. I don't know for how much longer, but it's there. But now we've seen it in several other perfumes, and I'm ready for a new interpretation of iris on a men's fragrance. And here we have that. I mean, again, the cardamom is actually a really big part of this fragrance, and mixed with the vanilla and the lavender, it's incredible. If you haven't smelled this fragrance, you absolutely must. It works all year round. I honestly think in all occasions, because even though it's very sexy, again, it doesn't it doesn't have huge projection, so I would even recommend it for the office because it is more of this intimate wear, and definitely for a date, for a dinner, for drinks, somewhere you're going to be close to a specific person. I think it's absolutely perfect for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also want to say thank you so much to all of you who subscribe. I reached 10K subscribers last week and I am so incredibly touched. Yeah, it's just been a huge accomplishment and it's really all thanks to you guys. I absolutely love interacting with you guys in the comments and on Instagram, and I'm so thankful that you found these videos interesting. If you guys are interested in me doing a Q&A, let me know and pose a question and I will do a Q&A for you guys next week or in the coming weeks. I never did one before, but I am more than happy to do one. So yes, do that, and also let me know what your favorite Le Male fragrance is if you don't have any questions for me. All right, thank you so much everyone for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.